The biggest debate competition in Ghana is back. Which side do you represent? For or against the motion? Stay glued to your superstation Love 99.5 FM, Joy Learning and Joy Prime as we bring to you the biggest stage where schools in Ashanti show their prowess through debate. Rally behind your alma mater to
edition of the Love FM High Schools Debate. We are live on radio Love 99.5 FM, the station where you get to experience the joy. We are also live on Joy Prime and Joy Learning, the channel where you keep learning all on your multi-TV digital box. Welcome once again. We are also live on Facebook and also YouTube. Now today we are going to see the two contests for the semi-final stage, and so contest one is going to be between Prempeh College and KNUST Senior High School. Now we have Prempeh College arguing for the motion code. China's involvement in Africa's infrastructure is more exploitative than developmental. KNUST will be arguing against the motion. And in case it's your first time watching us, remember that we do this in collaboration with the Ghana Education Service, the Conference of First of Assisted Senior High Schools, the Ashanti Regional Students Representative Council, the Christian Service University, and all our proud sponsors, as well as Joy Prime and Joy Learning. And so after that long week, let's have another conversation right now with our schools and find out from them what their A game is going to be today. We spoke to them in the morning, but let's see if that's the same thing they are going to repeat this afternoon. I'm going to go to the school that is arguing for the motion. That is Prempeh College, and I have this very handsome gentleman sitting next to me. Your name and what we should take away from Prempeh College today.
I am Aisitechi Emmanuel, Bala House Vice President. Well, we want to thank the Almighty God for how far He has brought us. Our boys are well prepared, they are groomed, and they are poised for action. We hope to carry the day. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Let me go to your colleague here also, Eugenia. Yes, looking very beautiful here. Eugenia, you heard what Prempeh College said. They said they are here for the win. What is KNUST here for?
We are also here to win, and I'll tell everybody to expect nothing but the best because we are underdogs when it comes to debates.
And your full name and your position?
My name is Eugenia Fosimeji, and I'm the second assistant girls professor of KNUST Senior High.
Okay, that's the lady from Majima. She's the girls prefect for KNUST. Let me go to the patron now from Prempeh College, and say you are welcome. You are live on radio Love 99.5 FM, live on TV as well, Joy Prime and Joy Learning. Prempeh College, one-time champion. Are you looking forward to clinch to the top again?
As you know, don't just say one-time champion. We've been 3 times finalists. We won it for 1 time. We're anticipating that this time around we are taking it for the 2nd time, and surely by the grace of God, as I said last week, we shall be there.
Okay, all right. By your name, please.
I am Solomon Esubonting, the chief editor for the school and also the welfare secretary, part of the debate patrons.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Solomon. And I have this gentleman also from KNUST here. He's wearing a 65th anniversary. I don't know whether if they get to the grand finale, that is what it's going to mean to them. I mean, celebrating their 65th birthday. Introduce yourself to us and also let us know what Majima is bringing on board today.
Yes, I'm George Adu, the debate coordinator. The actual action and the speaking itself is on stage. So we reserve all the comments after the competition. But what I can say is that today, Ghana and beyond will enjoy the most competitive and the most exciting competition.
Absolutely, that is all we all look forward to. And remember that when we are done, you all come back and account for your stewardship. My name is Patricia. Remember that the hashtag is LUVFMHSD, and the Love FM High Schools Debate, of course, is the leading debate competition in Ghana, and it is the platform we give to younger ones to have a voice, yes, I must say, on issues of national interest. David Akwete, you can take it away from me here from the foyer. And I just did. Thank you very much, Patricia Amabonsu. Now, all the debaters alongside their coaches are, looking up to God for support, for assistance, for help, so they can advance to the next stage of the competition. I'm wondering whose prayer God is going to answer today. But the beautiful thing is this: the atmosphere is so beautifully set here at the Christian Service University, where the semi-final contest for the 2025 edition of the Love FM High Schools Debate is just about coming up your way. A man for
A mouthful. All right, so the action is here at the Christian Service University. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be very, very hot. All the debaters are already seated in the auditorium. In a bit, we'll be inviting them to take their seats, grab the microphone, and when it's their turn, they do justice to the motion. Like Patricia said to you, we're doing this in collaboration with the Ashanti Regional GES, with the Conference of Heads of Assistant Secondary Schools, of course, with the Christian Service University. And I would like for you at this point in time to put your hands together for our partners. And make some noise for them. They've been amazing, they've been supportive, and we say thank you. Indeed, this is the biggest debate platform you can find anywhere in Ghana. And this has been put together by the Multimedia Group, and to be specific, Love 99.5. We're doing this also because we've got some amazing companies and institutions supporting us by way of sponsorship, and I'd like to acknowledge some of them. To begin with, let me say a big thank you to Yas Toothpaste. Now, they offer a complete oral health solution with 3 variants: the Yas Total Care, the Yas Whitening, and the Yas Herbal. It is formulated to protect against cavities, tooth decay, plaques, and bad breath. Yas Toothpaste also promotes a brighter smile, healthy gums, and stronger teeth. Now, for maximum protection, always use Yas Toothpaste and Yas Toothbrushes, which are available nationwide. Yas, caring brand for caring families. The Jackson University College is also one of our proud sponsors. We salute them and we say thank you very much. Now, the Jackson Institute of Innovation and Leadership, that is JIL, in partnership with the British Council, the IELTS and IDP, offer IELTS tuition in Ghana for those aiming to work or study abroad. They provide in-person and online classes. JIL also has a Study in Quebec, Canada program for English fluent or French learning children aged between 5 to 15. Now, they assist with documentation and offer flexible rates. Find their campus at number 4 Jackson Street at Aidria Senior KNUST. Send them a mail to learn@jil.edu.gh, or you can visit www.jil.edu.gh for more details. Jackson University College, hope for a brighter future. Some of the students in the auditorium a while ago were mentioning the H&H Gary mix, which of course I know the students love very much. In case you don't know about it, let me tell you about it. So if you're looking for a quick, tasty, and satisfying snack, H&H 4-in-1 Gary Mix is your perfect answer. Now, this popular choice features crispy Gary, creamer, roasted groundnuts, and sugar. Just add water. I always prefer the Vena mineral water, and I stir and I get to enjoy my Gary 4-in-1 mix. H&H has added H&H Choco Malt Gary Soakings and the H&H Soya Gary Soakings to the family. Grab these affordable H&H Gary Mix products in shops nationwide. H&H 4-in-1 Gary Mix, it is a perfect mix of crunch, flavor, and fun. Now, a big thank you also to EcoBank Ghana, and many Ghanaians are unaware of essential emergency numbers, including those for financial crisis. However, EcoBank has introduced a new money emergency number, *770#. Now, this service provides instant access to crucial financial services like loans, fund transfers, utility payments, airtime, and data purchases. Now, even without an internet connection, dial *770# today and get immediate and financial assistance. EcoBank, they are the Pan-African Bank. For those of you who want to organize excursions or you want to go on tours, Bonvas Tours is your one-stop shop. Bonvas Tours is your reliable partner for travel, work, or study abroad aspirations. They provide extensive services like visa assistance, hotel and flight bookings, guided tours, corporate travels, and school excursions. With over 10 years experience, they make travel documentation and consultation stress-free. Bonvas also has paid internships in Japan for IT students and hospitality jobs in the USA, Spain, and France. Locate them near the Victory Baptist Church at Aija, or you can visit www.bonvastours.com. Bonvas Tours, the joy of tourism. Now, a big thank you also goes out to the Christian Service University. They are admitting students for the 2025-2026 academic year. Undergraduate and master's programs are offered at CSU with morning, evening, and weekend schedules. CSU provides half scholarship to prospective students with an aggregate of 6 to 15. You can find CSU at Star Junction, Sentase. You can also visit csu.edu.gh for admissions and other inquiries. CSU, faith, scholarship, and integrity. Now, we've already heard the voice of Patricia Amabunsu, but I'm yet to hear the voice of Lady Becca. Bex.
Hello, David.
So the semifinals begins today.
Well, the stage is set, battle lines have been drawn, and we are all here for the heat.
What are your expectations?
Heat. I'm expecting the heat this afternoon. Would like to say a very big thank you to Amanono Rural Bank PLC Limited, which offers commercial, salary, auto, personal, group, SME, agric, and Nkoswo microfinance loans. They also operate different accounts and Enidaso Susu savings. Receive your local and international money transfers from us. We are headquartered at Hinahini, opposite the lorry station. You can also find us at Mrom, Espresso, Ebuakwa, Tafo, BBNE, and Asafu Market near the VVIP bus terminal. Amanono Rural Bank, service beyond expectation.
We say thank you also to Esilali Empire, the only place that can make you look very beautiful for all your occasions. We also are training people for our 2 weeks intensive or 3 months regular makeup class. Become a professional today, and yes, Esilali is the only person who can help you with that. Now also Esilali Empire sells ladies wear, quality designer shoes, bags, accessories, perfumes, body splashes, and many more. Enjoy our signature vegetable, chicken, potato, pasta salad, prepared fresh daily, also at Salado GH. Call Esilali right now. If you are especially watching me from home, her number is 024-799-0760 for all your event orders. And remember, you can also locate her at Amakom next to Wate Kumasi. Esilali Empire, we say your world of beauty and more.
Now we are saying a big thank you to St. Ben's Jewelry for high quality, customized, elegant, and affordable wedding, engagement, or promissory rings. Visit St. Ben's Jewelry today. We design white, yellow, rose gold, and silver rings, earrings, bracelets, wristwatches, and other accessories. We offer special flexible payment terms for couples. Locate us at Amakom opposite Edward Nasser and Adum Chelsea House opposite Standard Chartered Bank. St. Ben's Jewelry, just dream it and it will be done.
Zwan is also here. They've introduced their luncheon with the cocktail sausages and hot dogs, which is your secret to delicious and yummy, energetic meals. It is perfect for everything. In fact, even if you are eating fufu and you want to put Zwan on, it is allowed. I have endorsed it. And it's also perfect for spaghetti, noodles, salad, burgers, sandwiches, and more. It offers both taste and nutrition. And so when you go to the market, choose from any of our flavors, whether it's chicken, beef, turkey, hot and spicy. It's also available at every shop at KDTA Dubai Market, Dr. Mensa, and every supermarket nationwide. Grab one today and have a wonderful taste.
Now let's also say a big thank you to Dunamis Plus. They provide quality, affordable, and fire-resistant interior and exterior security, bulletproof PVC interior and waterproof doors for homes, offices, schools, churches, and other institutions. Our wooden doors come with frames, panels, and accessories. We also have beautiful furniture from Turkey. Find us at Anhojo Atinga Junction off the Lameta Road, Tanoso opposite the Catholic Church, and Bonho close to the Cars Quarry Factory. Dunamis Plus, we give you real value for your money.
Now we're taking a trip to Manya, Jopanya, Shire Hills in the Greater Accra region, where we will find Palm University College. Now they are admitting prospective students for their BSc and MSc options in Business Information Technology, Business Administration, Computer Science, Information Technology Management, Health Services Management, and also leadership programs. We have an experienced faculty, a stimulating environment, and for me the best part is that their fees are subsidized so that everybody can actually enroll at Palm University College. If you want more information, log on right now to www.palm.edu.gh, and also you can enjoy a 1-semester exchange program with Oklahoma University if you are a student at Palm University College.
Now ABA Herbal Center specializes in the treatment of glaucoma, cataract, long and short-sightedness, and every kind of eye problem. If you experience menstrual disorder, hypertension, stroke, prostate, liver, and kidney-related diseases, we are here for you. Visit ABA Herbal today in Kumasi at Kwadaso Ejinase behind the main market, and at Doma Ahenkrovia near the Ebenezer Preschool adjacent Apia Kubi Cold Store.
If you need any emergency loan right now, please make your way to the Chiasikan Rural Bank. And if you are looking to open a current, a savings, a fixed deposit, a SUSU, or infant savings account, Chiasikan is the place that you need to go. And the reason why you need to go to them for your emergency loan is that even when it comes to repayments, they have the lowest interest rate on the market. Please clap for Chiasikan for doing that for everybody. You are not happy. Thank you. Okay. Now also go and receive your Western Union, your eSwitch, your iTrans, your mobile money, and Ghana Pay electronic and local transfers from Ochiasikan Rob Bank. Our headquarters is at Kofi Ase, but our branches also are at Asante Mampong, Ejra, Sepebo Krom, Abofo, Macro, Swami, and King Kenso, and also Dr. Mensa. Ochiasikan Rob Bank, we are your savior in rob banking.
Well, Patricia, lastly on my list before we move on, we say a big thank you to Gimpa Kumasi Campus, which is accepting applications for its diploma, undergraduate, and postgraduate diploma programs. We have a one-year master's program in supply chain management, project management, accounting, and taxation. Gimpa offers a 4-month postgraduate diploma in occupational safety, health, and environmental management. Sign up for our evenings, weekends, and regular lectures. Find our campus behind the Kumasi City Mall, Asqua, or visit www.gimpa.edu.gh on how to apply.
Well, there's something. Please, can we clap for the people I interviewed before the program? David, you know why? I was so impressed. You see, we are always sitting close to each other. And the way the breath was fresh and the teeth was looking nice, I was like, what's your secret? They said, we went to Daxa Dental. You think we don't listen when you talk? Please clap for Daxa Dental. You can also go there and enjoy a 10% discount off all their services that they do. Dr. Saba and his friends of professionals are doing a lot of amazing work there. Book them for any appointments at any of their branches located at the first gate of Amstead at IPT, Amekom. They are inside the City South building, and also Ahojo. They are opposite latest home. Daxa Dental Clinic. They make sure you smile with confidence. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
And indeed, they are smiling with confidence. A round of applause for Patricia and Becca. Now, for those of you watching us on television, watching us on Facebook, or even on YouTube, or listening to us on radio, gradually we're coming to the end of the 2025 edition of the Love FM High Schools debate. It's been fierce, it's been competitive, it's been educative, it's been very informative. And I ask that we all put our hands together for all the schools that partook in this year's edition of the Love FM High Schools debate. Please put your hands together for them. Like we always say to you, this is an academic exercise. These young ones have gone out of their own way to do their research, just so they buttress the points that they have discovered to the motions. So they can mention the name of an individual, they can mention the name of an organization or an institution. Don't take it negatively. It's because of the debate and the works that they have done. Now, for every debate, we have a very fine person who sits in as a chairperson, because the debaters themselves address the chair. So let me introduce you the chairperson for this afternoon's contest, and that is the contest that is going to be between Prempeh College and KNUST, and the motion is China's involvement in Africa's infrastructure is more exploitative than developmental. Now, Prempeh College, they are for the motion. KNUST are against the motion. Our chairperson, ladies and gentlemen, is in the person of Mrs. Theodosia Jackson. Now, between 1979 and 1992, she was the assistant headmistress for Kumasi High School. Then 1992 to 2008, she became the pioneering headmistress for KNUST JHS. In 2009, she decided to do something amazing. She formed the Jackson Educational Complex with her husband, Professor Jackson, which is now the Jackson University College. Jackson University College, listen, has over 22,000 graduates, and they are now offering a master's program as well. The Jackson University has a new department, a new baby. It's called the Jackson Institute of Technology. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the chairperson, Mrs. Theodosia Jackson. Also, to every debate, we have our accurate timekeeper, and again, all the debaters acknowledge him or her. This afternoon, we have a he sitting in that beautiful chair. His name is Mr. Emmanuel Koji, and I would ask him to help the debaters, because very soon we'll be telling you about the rules of engagement and how the judges score. But listen to this: when you're halfway through your presentation as a debater, this is what Emmanuel will do for you. Now, when your time is entirely up and you have to stop whatever it is that you're doing on the stage, this is what you will hear. Yeah, so that's our accurate timekeeper. Please, a round of applause for him as well for me. Thank you. For every debate, we also have a panel of judges. So at this point in time, I'd like to run you through the judges who are seated this afternoon to do justice to the debate. One of our judges for this afternoon is Dr. Mrs. Lucy Bonku. She's a senior lecturer at the Department Okay, she's a senior lecturer at the Kumasi Technical University, and she teaches English and communication skills. She has more than 30 years experience in the field. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Dr. Mrs. Lucy Bonku. Another judge amongst us this afternoon is Professor Anthony Kofi Osei-Fosu. He's an associate professor at the Department of Economics at the KNUST. Now, he has taught for over 30 years and he's still teaching. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Judge number 2, Professor Anthony Kofi Osei-Fosu. Prof, thanks very much for your time. Now, with that out of the way, I'd like to introduce to you another judge. And he goes by the name Dr. Peter Arthur. He is a lead judge for the Love FM High Schools debate. He is the former head of the English department and former head of the Language and Communication Sciences department at KNUST. He delves into textuality, oral and written, and of course, all kinds of text. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Dr. Peter Arthur. Well, having introduced all the judges to you, I'd like our lead judge to mount the podium and grab the microphone and share with us how they score. The debaters who will be speaking, he'll be telling us how they score. He will also be telling us the rules of engagement. If you are eager and ready to listen to him, please welcome him with a round of applause. Dr. Peter Arthur, our lead judge.
Thank you, Dave. Madam Chair, a short while ago, you were talking about wisdom, and of course, wisdom is what we use as a society. And I'm glad to say that this platform is meant for incubating wisdom in the young ones. And with your permission, I go ahead and deliver how we do the scores and the rules of engagement. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come this far. Now, I want you to know that early on, your delivery was just presentation. And then you got to the quarterfinals. And you were supposed to speak as a speaker, public speaker. Now, you've gone beyond that. You are now an orator. And so as we move on, I will explain that. Now, we are going to use 5 parameters for the scoring: organization and clarity, argument and development, effective use of rebuttal, presentation style, and role as a particular debater. Organization and clarity is very simple. How you start, how you move, you develop, and how you land. It's as simple as that. Of course, your points must be a researched one. All right. The first speaker is taking 15 marks for that. Second speaker is taking 10 marks for that. And then the summary is going for 5 marks. Arguments and development. Pay attention here. I say you are now an orator. So you have the body appeal and then the verbal appeal. And when we talk about the body appeal, we are talking about how you engage your listeners. Now here, it's got to do with body language and then even the way you manipulate your voice. Put that aside. Verbal appeal. We have ethical appeal, logical appeal, and emotional appeal. For ethical and logical, you've been doing well. We are very interested in the emotional one. And what we are saying is that take advantage of a social belief, a social value, a social morality, something of that sort. And then appeal to us that as a human community, this is what we use for a better community. That's all. And the first speaker is taking 15 marks for that. The second speaker is taking 10 marks. And then the summary is going for 5 marks. Effective use of rebuttal. We all know the deal. You listen to your opponent and make sure that you identify a fault within the line of his reasoning or her reasoning and convince us that what the other person is saying is a faulty reasoning. And The first speaker is taking 5 marks for that. The second speaker is taking 10 marks. Note that. And then the summary is going for 5. Presentation style. How you engage them, how you use the floor. But here, I must say, nobody will tell you that in debate we don't read. We read. But take note of this. You have your points. You just glance at the points, and then you explain everything off the cuff. Now, what it means is that if you get glued, because you've seen that some of you are using tricks, you put it there, and you keep walking around the days, and then you keep reading. I'm sorry, we will deduct marks. You heard that? Again, when you are speaking, do not rush, because other people are listening. And when you rush, you're giving indication that you've chewed and you are pouring. No, this platform is not for that exercise. Speak naturally and flow naturally. You can animate your speech, but do not exaggerate. You understand what I'm talking about? And your language must be decorous. Don't insult anybody. And make sure you do not cross the line and get to the opponent's side. Please, anything at all can happen. The first speaker is taking 5 marks for that. And then the second speaker is taking 3 marks. And then the summary is supposed to be for 2 marks. The role as a particular debater, the first speaker is supposed to be a powerful one, and then the second speaker is just there to support whatever he or she is saying. Now, let's get to the rules of engagement. The principal speaker on the affirmative team presents argument in support of the motion, and that one takes 10 minutes. The principal speaker on the opposing team presents argument opposing the resolution, 10 minutes. The second speaker on the affirmative team presents further arguments in support of the resolution, identifies areas of conflict, and answers questions that may have been raised by the opposition speaker, this time 7 minutes. The second speaker on the opposing team presents further arguments against the resolution, identifies areas of conflict, and answers questions that may have been raised by the previous affirmative speaker. 7 minutes for that. And then the principal speaker on the affirmative team, this time, comes with closing statement to their arguments without adding any new information, and also uses the opportunity to respond to rebuttals if there is any. 5 minutes for that. And then the principal speaker on the opposing team comes with closing statement to their argument without adding any new information, and also uses the opportunity to respond to rebuttal if there is any. And that takes 5 minutes for that. Now note that speakers must be very audible, and that means that you have to take the microphone close to your mouth. And there shouldn't be any interruption. That means that every speaker should wait for his or her turn. The principal speaker is only raising 5 marks for the maximum score. And then the supporting speaker is raising 3 points for the maximum scores. Now let's get some other rules. He who asserts, oh, you are old in the business, huh? He who asserts, that's right. In order to establish an assertion, the team must support the assertion with enough facts and evidence. Ladies and gentlemen, facts and evidence must be accurate. Examples or visual materials are permissible, and once introduced, they become available for the opponent's use if so desired. And tangible evidence must be tendered as exhibits to support facts. Now, in rebuttal, the debater rebutting may ask any constructive and clear question that has a direct bearing on the point raised. The one rebutting must confine him or herself to questions and not to make statements or comments. Supporters from both sides must exercise discipline, not to induce, frustrate, or intimidate the other speaker. Failure would attract deduction of marks. Now, let's talk about time. Debaters must respect time. If you are burned out, You must end your presentation. Otherwise, you will lose some marks. And in a case of tie, the two schools involved will be given a motion to debate within 2 days or 48 hours. Note, and this has been said, and I'm repeating it because it's very important. The score of one judge cannot overturn that of 2 judges. Now, there is either a majority decision from the judges, meaning 2 judges out of the 3 score for a school. There could also be unanimous decision, meaning all 3 judges scored for a school. Now, if you have any problem whatsoever, there is a gentleman behind you. Kindly turn. Yes, he's the one. He has raised his hands. Yes, he's known as Mr. Eugene Osetutu. If you have any problem, please go to him and your problem will be addressed. Thank you.
Well, that was our lead judge, Dr. Peter Arthur there. And it's now time for us to welcome the debaters so that they start the debate. We'd like to acknowledge all of you watching us on television on Joy Prime and of course Joy Learning. We'd like to say a big thank you to all of you watching us on Facebook and YouTube. And for those of you listening to us on radio, we acknowledge you as well. And we say thank you very much. The very first contest in the semi-final stage of the 2025 edition of the Love FM High Schools debate, as we have been told, is going to be between Prempeh College and KNUST. The motion is China's involvement in Africa's infrastructure is more exploitative than developmental. And Prempeh are for the motion, KNUST, they are against the motion. So at this point in time, I'd like to call on the seniors to stand. A man for? Yes. A man for? Oh, let's try one more time. A man for? Yes. I know you know the drill already. You're standing at this point because you're about to sing for us the school anthem. I can see a few of you, stretching, some of you holding your school cloth and all that. It tells me that you're proud students of Prempeh College. Are you not? Yeah. They say they are. So you're about to sing for us the school anthem, after which, with a round of applause, we welcome your debaters. Uncle Collins, are you ready? He says he is. So follow his lead. He's going to play your school anthem for you. All you need to do is to tag along by singing along with, to the anthem. And please do this with smiles on your face. Do this with all the energy you can master. Enjoy your anthem. If you're ready on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Arise and shine, students of Prempeh College, training up for truth and excellence, to building up our flame, find our motto in building up the love of God. Arise and shine, students of Prempeh College, training up for truth and excellence, to building up our flame, find our motto in building up the love of God. To serve our nation, clean and strong. To serve our nation, clean and strong. So by name him in praise. Character and integrity, 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 character and integrity. Amafo, raise the voice now, raise the voice now, and sing, glorious Prempeh College, and sing, glorious Prempeh College.
Well, thank you very much for singing for us the school anthem. And thanks very much for singing it so beautifully and so well. With a round of applause, please welcome your debaters. The principal speaker is Ohene Echampong Kwame, supported by Adongo Godfred. And there they are, with smiles on their faces, snapping their fingers, telling their school that they are ready. I can imagine how Prempeh College is looking like this afternoon. I am sure that maybe at the assembly hall, you have a giant screen where all the students are gathered, hoping for the very best from their debaters. Thank you very much, seniors. Magima. Magima. Nyansapo. Please stand. Well, so not too long ago, you heard students from Prempeh College sing for us your school anthem. You're equally standing right now because you're about to sing for us your anthem as well. Are you ready? No, I can feel the energy now. Are you ready? Yes. That's the spirit. That's what I'm talking about. Uncle Collins is nodding, saying that he's also ready. Follow his lead. He's going to lead you or help you sing your school anthem. So if you're ready, on 3, 1, 2, go. And also, I saw some of you singing your school anthem with your eyes closed. It tells me the emotions you are attaching to singing your school anthem as well. Marima, Nyansapo, welcome your debaters. They are Ernestina Osu Setre, Enikwao Toto Tobo. And where are they? Alright, so now I can see them. Now I can see them. One of the patrons hugging them before allowing them to descend the stairs to mount the podium and grab their seats. And I like the way they are being welcomed this afternoon. All like the Prempeh students who are beaming with smiles, they have a very serious look on their face. It's all good. Thank you very much. Please take your seats. Now, to those of you watching us on television, very good sportsmanship, shaking hands with their opponents. Listen, if you know somebody who's doing something else and not watching the debate that's about to begin on television, call that person, send a text and tell that person that the first contest in the semi-final edition of the 2025 edition of the Love FM High Schools debate is just about to begin. And so they should turn on their television on Joy Prime or Joy Learning, or go onto YouTube or Facebook, or just turn on their radio. They are seated and the contest is just about to begin. But the chairperson, with your permission, can we start? She says, yes, we can. Accurate timekeeper, are you ready? That tells me that he is ready. Panel of judges, are you ready? They are nodding in affirmation that they are ready. And of course, to the debaters, I can see them sorting out their scripts and all. It tells me that they are more than ready to debate this afternoon. The audience, are you ready? Yes. Then for the last time, please put your hands together for them. And at this point in time, I'd like to welcome the principal speaker from Prempeh College, Ohene Echampong Kwame, to start the debate. Ohene, take the microphone and take the stage.
Friends and countrymen, we are not here to romanticize concrete. Yes, the roads are real. The gleaming airports and airways that China helped build do exist. But we stand here to challenge this house to a deeper question. At what cost? And for whose true benefit? Is it you, me, or that big Chinese company tagged in all caps, because that is how loud their prophets echo, while the voice of Africa fades into a whisper? From the body chemistry of my opponents, I don't know about them. But to you, the ever-wise chairperson, bold and impartial panel of judges, accurate timekeeper, all other protocols duly observed, and lovely good afternoon to you all. Representing Prempeh College, I am the principal speaker in full affirmation of the resolution before the House today, which I quote, China's involvement in African infrastructure is more exploitative than developmental. Madam Chair, explaining key terms in the motion, involvement refers to taking part in an activity. Infrastructure refers to the structures necessary for a country to run well. Exploitative refers to take as much as possible and give very little in return. Developmental, as used in the motion, refers to the advancement and progress of something. So all in all, the House, the message the motion seeks to posit is that China's involvement in constructing railways, hospitals, and other infrastructure in Africa drains Africa more than it contributes to her development. The House, my opponents have no other option but to mount this podium and raise just 2 points that China's involvement in Africa's infrastructure has spearheaded: 1, economic development, and 2, infrastructure development. But this is textbook example of poverty of aspect. Yes, China built, but it built cyclical debt and dependency that downs to the tune of Beijing, not to that of Accra or Lagos. And so the opposition has no business mounting this podium to preach to us about how far China has brought us, about how well China has dealt with us, because Ebenezer, we know how far China has brought us. This into concept, our premier point in support of our stance is that China's involvement in African infrastructure is a classic case of debt trap deficiency. Sir, can I continue? Debt trap deficiency or debt trap diplomacy refers to the situation where a stronger country extends a loan to a weaker country, utilizing their vulnerability to exert political and economic influence. We woke up on the morning of 17 November 2021 to a South China Morning Report that stated that Ghana has entered into a $2 billion loan agreement with China in exchange for what? Our bauxite. Oh yes, I know the proponents of fair trade are ready to rebut, saying that if we as a nation wholly agree to the trade, then there is no element of exploitation. But this is appeal to superficial benefit. Yes, the roads have been built, but who weighs the benefit of the contract? Madam Chair, beautiful lady, the Center for Global Development is our witness that Kenya and Zambia face severe loan repayment crisis, causing China, the very country that promised to give them the port and the airport, to seize those same ports and airports. So yes, they give you loans they know you cannot pay. And when you cannot pay, they seize valuable assets in your country. And you call this developmental? Oh, give us a break. This is like trading the gold you receive from your grandmother for a plastic chair just because you need a place to sit. If this is not exploitative, then the word exploitative has been exploited. And so we move to point 2. The House, we argue that China's involvement in Africa's infrastructure has led to the crippling loss of local jobs and skills. Oh, to my audience from YouTube, this may be new to you, but the Britain's Institute, dated 2021, informed us to tell you that up to 70% of the workers on Chinese projects in Africa are Chinese. Now, my opponents may team up with their Chinese counterparts to promise us that China's involvement in Africa's infrastructure will create a wide array of jobs for the African continent. But I am yet to see him employed to lay a brick, and I am yet to see the unemployment rate in Africa reduced from its staggering 11.5% in Ghana, 27.6% in Botswana, and 30.8% in Angola. And since that is obviously not the case, I move to my third point. We further argue that China's involvement in Africa's infrastructure has led to the undue exploitation of Africa's natural resources. Oh yes, This may be new to you, but in fact, China has unduly exploited Africa's resources. Under the infamous Sino-Hydro deal, we gave China access to all our bauxite. And in exchange for what? We get roads. Oh, at least that is what we thought. Until in 2021, the system for Botanica informed us that these Chinese and their secondary Takrade operators of the secondary Takrade interchange have abandoned the site. Why? Because Ghana turned to the IMF. The people of Ghana cried for an answer, only for the then road minister to throw us a very funny response, stating that he cannot give a deadline on the project because he does not control the funding. Judges, of a truth, we are tired. My opponent certainly conducted no extensive research. Otherwise, they would have realized that HRW.org established that Chinese operators in Zambia exported raw copper from Zambia to their country in China, only to sell it back to my opponent as earring. If this is not development, if this is not exploitative, I don't know what is. But okay, let's hastily conclude that this is more developmental. Maybe next time we should trade cocoa for chewing gum and call it fair trade. To our fourth and penultimate point, we argue that China's involvement in African infrastructure is more exploitative due to China's political influence and soft power expansion. Madam, you are looking very splendid this morning, but can I shock you? Can I move on? Infrastructure is not just about roads, cement, and steel. It is leverage, political leverage. The Brookings Institute, or rather, the Brookings Institute informed us that indeed the Chinese invested more heavily in African countries that were more likely to invest or to vote in favor of Beijing's foreign policy positions, even when they conflicted with African values. Oh, this is nothing new to us. We were all here in the year 2023 when the then Vice President of the United States of America, Kamala Harris, graced Africa and Ghana with her presence, only to insist that LGBTQ plus rights are human rights and must be protected. The audacity in a country where such values are morally jarring. Oh, goodness. I can only imagine a 16-year-old boy bending for a 46-year-old man to I will continue later. In the same way, brothers and sisters, if our decisions continue to echo Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, instead of the voices of our African people, it is puppetry, not diplomacy. Oh, Mama Africa, may it never be so that we will make a mockery of ourselves. Finally, we argue that China's involvement in African infrastructure is never ever sustainable development, considering the consequential environmental harm and community displacement it entails. Oh, can I continue? Yes, the roads the Chinese built are wide. The railways are very tall. But what happens to the forest cleared? The rivers polluted. The people displaced from their ancestral homes in order to make way for the so-called Chinese monument of progress. What happens to them? The AP News reported that four individuals of Kichi actually died in Zambia due to a Chinese oil spill. Again, my Joy Online News report actually made us aware that 2 infants unfortunately fell into a mining pit of a Chinese mining site and unfortunately lost their lives. What crime must a man commit in order to die in his own country just because he has traded his land, his future, his dignity, his hope for roads and highways? Oh yes, you are right to ask yourselves, if this is true, why do we still trade with China if it is this exploitative? That is why we stand here as a manful to put into the conscience of the Chinese policymakers that what we call development is actually disguised devastation. My name is Kwame Ohene Inketia Echampo, and I yearn to develop in dignity, not in the shadow of another man's empire. I rest my case.
ad hominem, appeal to emotion, red herring, bandwagon, hasty conclusions and overgeneralizations are the basis of Amanfo's argument. China has never colonized Africa, yet it is being accused of exploiting Africa. Why? Because it is China. A classic case of give a dog a bad name and hang it. To you, the otherwise share, bold and impartial panel of judges, accurate timekeeper, co-debaters, fellow students, ladies and gentlemen, good day. Hailing from the land of Majima, KNUST Senior High School, I am Owusu Sechere, Echa and Estina, the principal speaker in full opposition of the resolution. And I quote, China's involvement in Africa's infrastructure is more exploitative than developmental, unquote. Before I commence my argument, Honorable Chair, please permit me to expatiate the key terms in the motion for the benefit of everyone. Involvement, according to the Cambridge Dictionary, is the act or process of taking part in something. Infrastructure, according to Oxford Languages, is the basic physical and organizational structures and facilities such as buildings, roads, power supplies needed for the operation of a society or enterprise. Same source defines exploitative as making use of a situation or treating others unfairly in order to gain an advantage or benefit. Developmental is an adjective of the noun development, which according to vocabulary.com means improving by expanding, enlarging, or refining. Vocabulary.com again defines more than as a comparative adjective, which is a quantifier meaning greater in size, or amount, or extent, or degree. All in all, my supporting speaker and I, including my opponents, have a simple task to prove beyond all reasonable doubts whether China's involvement in Africa's infrastructure is more unfairly disadvantageous or beneficial. The chair, my supporting speaker and I strongly argue that China's involvement in Africa's infrastructure far outweighs my opponent's so-called exploitation. I proceed with point 1. China engages in healthy, responsible, and competitive business with Africa. Now, my opponents, let me show you what is called exploitation. Exploitation is where our colonial masters, in the guise of barter trade, cajoled our forefathers to trade our precious minerals in exchange for poisonous items and other destructive products such as schnapps, gun, and gunpowder. This is what can be regarded as exploitation. Now, the chair, let me show everybody what's developmental in terms of a healthy, responsible, and competitive business with China. Now, Amanfo, pay attention. We provide factual evidence. In 2008, the Democratic Republic of Congo and China signed a deal worth $9 billion, giving China access to minerals in exchange for building infrastructure, an infrastructure DRC desperately needed. As part of this agreement, the China Export-Import Bank pledged to build and restore over 3,500 kilometers of road and 3,200 kilometers of roadways, 32 hospitals, 145 health centers, and 2 universities. Amanfo, before you say I'm overgeneralizing, let me take you to Rwanda. The chair, we tender that as evidence. The chair, the house. We have no doubts in our minds that China's relation with Africa is more developmental. Point 2. Africa-China relations provide mutual understanding and benefits, not exploitation. The chair, the house. China's relationships with African nations is framed by its foreign policy discourse of, quote, peaceful development and harmonious world, unquote. It is based upon the values of political equality, win-win cooperation, mutual benefits, cultural exchange, and non-interference. The house, my opponents, listen to this from one of the most successful African leaders in modern times, Paul Kagame, the Rwandan president, who says, and I quote, partnership with China built on mutual respect, shared interest, claim of new colonialism unfounded, unquote. I hope you heard that. The chair, according to Paul Kagame, their relation with China is characterized by sincerity, real results, amity, and good faith. Indeed, China has proven to be a very reliable friend and partner in supporting African development without imposing its will. Amanfo, if you have any contrary arguments, I'll be waiting for you. Point 3, China provides better and more favorable conditions for obtaining loans and for investments. Doc Mamalu, the beauty of this game is he who asserts must prove. We provide evidence from geopoliticaleconomy.com. China forgives 23 loans for 17 African countries expands win-win trade and infrastructural development. This comes after China had cancelled $3.4 billion and restructured $15 billion from 2000 to 2019. The chair, the House, while China has a repeated history of giving loans like this, and their Western allies give baseless, politically motivated accusations that China uses debt trap diplomacy and try to demonize China for its substantial infrastructural development on the continent, yet they do worse. Panel of judges, let's listen to this from BBC. The U.S. imposes sanctions on Uganda for anti-gay law. How sad that somebody out there can impose sanctions against another sovereign nation who commits no crime but for making a law in conformity with African values and culture. The chair, let's take another shameful one from our own backyard. As reported by dailypost.com, IMF orders government to freeze employment. My opponent's reason, because we've gone for loan. How demeaning. The House, contrary to these hegemonic and bullying conditions, thank God there is China, who has stood shoulder to shoulder with African countries to shame our ad hominem propagandas. The chair, we reject this idea of exploitation in no uncertain terms. Point 4, China provides unmatched infrastructural development for Africans. The chair, the House, China has a very sweet slogan which goes, and I quote, Fajad, di Chile, DR, unquote, meaning development first, governance second. This slogan illustrates China's belief that overcoming state fragility is first and foremost about improving economic conditions rather than being preoccupied by political governance. In the light of this, China, since its contact with Africa, has engaged in unprecedented infrastructural development. For example, in 2018, at a Forum for Africa-China Cooperation Summit at Beijing, China announced a whooping amount of, guess what, $60 billion for African development to cover telecommunication, building of roads, bridges, energy, and many more. The chair, the House. A more classic example is the famous AU headquarters located in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. The chair, it cost China over $200 million to build that glorious edifice for Africa. The chair, the House, if we are to narrow down into China's massive infrastructural development in all the 54 countries in Africa, I tell you, a book as big as this room cannot contain it. Among 4, is this what you term as exploitation? Exploitation indeed. Point 5, the chair, China's involvement with Africa provides employment. Employment that comes as a result of China's massive infrastructural development in the continent. A perfect example is the Addis Ababa AU headquarters project. The chair, the construction took place with a workforce of 1,200, of which half were Ethiopians and half were Chinese. My opponents, before you try to come here and rebut by saying that they exploit African workers by underpaying them, using them as mere laborers and abusing their rights, pay attention, because a repeated rebuttal is a very embarrassing one. The African workers are employed and paid according to their qualification and skills. Besides that, if anyone feels cheated or his or her rights is infringed upon, knows what to do. The chair, in the first place, we see no exploitation in this. Not to talk of more than. The chair, the House, rebuttals. Ohiniba claimed that China's involvement in Africa's infrastructure is a classic case of debt trap diplomacy. That is misleading because, according to the Rwandan president himself, their deals with China are characterized by sincerity and real results. Besides that, there is no empirical evidence that proves that Chinese loans are debt traps. They also claimed that China's involvement in Africa's infrastructure has led to loss of local jobs and skills. A red herring fallacy. Competition improves overall quality of goods and services. Their presence is supposed to motivate us, not to intimidate us. They also asserted that China's involvement in Africa's infrastructure has led to undue exploitation of Africa's natural resources. Once again, this is oversimplification. 2 representatives of sovereign nations come to the negotiation table that, oh, I have money, you have resources. Let me invest in your infrastructure so that I will take your resources. Is that exploitation? I leave that to your conscience. They also claim that China's involvement in Africa's infrastructure is more exploitative due to, I rest my case. Among for be back.
Impartial panel of judges, my opponent with all their alacrities want to emotionally charm this house into believing that China is helping Africa develop and not exploiting us. That is a surface success fallacy. They are showing off their physical infrastructures but hiding the political strings, environmental damages, and economic consequences underneath. Indeed, the roads, the shiny, wide, beautiful roads built with Chinese cement, Chinese infrastructure, and Chinese workers in African countries. Let's share how generous. Members of the opposition, don't start what you can't finish. I tell you, you won't enjoy it. And for your lies, I will expose them. To you, the ever-wise chairperson, board and impartial jury, represented Prempeh College this afternoon, I am Godfred Adongo, a bold and eloquent supporting speaker in full affirmation of the motion set before the House today. And we quote, China's involvement in African infrastructure is more exploitative than developmental, unquote. Now the House, per my role as a supporting speaker, I will simply proceed with organized facts to buttress our point. In light of this, point 6, we debate that Chinese-led infrastructure development often sidelines African expertise, thereby creating a system of dependency, management, and maintenance issues. Oh yes, my lovely audience, who truly owns this road and projects once they are being built? On paper, they may seem like partnership, but in practice, they are Chinese designed, Chinese manufactured, and Chinese executed. Many African countries mostly have minimal input in planning and oversight to maintain or manage this project independently. The African Development Bank in 2020 reported that many African countries struggle with post-construction management of Chinese-built infrastructure due to the absence of local technical involvement. Now, who do we turn to for repairs, upgrades, or technical support? Can this do right? The House. This in turn builds long-term dependency on China, who have now by force changed our financial and technological umbilical course, stretching all the way to Beijing. To my 7th point, the chair, we argue that China's presence in African infrastructure world systematically dismantles our local industries and also undermines self-sufficiency. I'm sure most of you are wondering how. Yes, that is the concern of any thoughtful African who just doesn't look at the roads being built, but dares to ask, at what cost? Is it a mass influx of Chinese goods into our local market? Hey, we've all seen those made in China labels. Yes, they are cheap, mass produced, and everywhere. But the economic and human security in a report dated May 15, 2025 tells you that Chinese imports have significantly crippled our local textiles and also manufacturing industries across the entire continent just because we can't compete with them. Infrastructure should empower internal production, not create foreign addiction. So, if this 21st century of we give you trains, you give us your economy, isn't exploitative, then maybe we should just hand over the keys, rename Accra or Lagos as New Guangzhou, and call it Regional Chinese Business Zone. Because apparently, what is national growth without national control, right? Total hypocrisy on their side. So my 8th and of course final point, the chair, we contend that China's quiet control of Africa's infrastructure or Africa's strategic assets and under the guise of infrastructure investments reveals a calculated neo-colonial agenda. The House, this point is very, very technical, so I have to take it again. China's quiet control of Africa's strategic assets under the guise of infrastructure investments reveals a calculated neo-colonial agenda. Now the House, let's pay attention. Ports, railways, power grids, once default hits ownership stripped. Just ask the Zambia and especially Kenya, where fears of losing the Mombasa ports over unpaid Chinese loans brought or made headlines and also brought about unwarranted fear to its people. Or you deny, just like the Kenyan government, to save face. They share the House. This isn't aid, it is asset acquisition on a silver platter. And if this isn't the modern version of colonization, where we don't lose lands by war but by contract, then maybe the chains just got smarter and shinier. But for sure, let's continue calling it development because apparently sovereignty is just a side effect. Excuse us. Let's share the House impartial panel of jury. My opponents alluded that China is just filling a Western gap. This is romanticizing exploitation. Because when someone leaves you in the rain and another person gives you an umbrella filled with holes, the greatest response is gratitude. But China didn't come out of it, they came out of profit. My opponent, take note of that. My opponent also alluded that many African countries benefit from skills transfer through this project. This is a phantom benefit argument where we speak of the skills but produce none. If building a road in my backyard where I didn't design, I didn't maintain, or I didn't keep, it's called skills transfer, then maybe my cousin, who is studying Grey's Anatomy, is practically a surgeon. Let's not pretend that you are being trained, we are being replaced. My opponent also asserted that most African countries benefit from job creations from these projects. This is a fallacy. Job creation, where? Because the last time I checked, 70% of workers in Chinese industries are Chinese nationals, not Africans. So what are you saying? Or you didn't make your arguments right. What are you even saying about people getting benefit of developed roads, power, and blah, 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 etc. from China? Let's share the house. It's the short-term max benefit. We are just praising the immediate effect, but ignoring the long-term cost. Yes, there may be roads, there may be power lines, but do we own them? No. Can we really afford to maintain them? No. And will it even last? No. My opponent also asserted that many African countries are free to renegotiate when a deal goes bad. It's the illusion of equal power fallacy. So you're now saying that a child can renegotiate with a lion for mid-lunch. Let's share the house, please. None of us goes there as equals, not you or I, or maybe they do. Total hypocrisy. The house. My opponent also asserted that most African leaders willingly sign these deals. They may assert that most African leaders willingly sign these deals. Therefore, it is not exploitation because they agreed upon this. This would be a consensual exploitation fallacy, because this is the same as saying that a child who consented or a child who took candies from a stranger consented to being kidnapped. KNUST. The chair impartial panel of jury. My assertions are very clear. My rebuttals on point. The ball is now in your court to judge. But remember, whom the crown fits today, let them wear. The name remains Godfred Adongo Anyene, the supporting speaker for Prempeh College. And as the Frafra man will say, Pusia. Thank you.
Hello. The chair, impartial panel of judges, accurate timekeeper, co-debaters, fellow students, ladies and gentlemen, good day. My name is Toto Togbo Ni Kwao, a proud student from KNUST High School, rising as a supporting speaker against the motion. Quote, China's involvement in Africa's infrastructure is more exploitative than developmental. Unquote. The chair, as my principal speaker, has outlined the key points of the motion. Permit me to go on and conquer with my salient points. Point 6, the chair, China provides transfer of technology, skills and expertise to Africa. The chair, China, as we speak, has proved itself to be a worthy and reliable partner, willing to provide assistance to any country that needs its support. The chair, as we speak, Rwanda is a proven test case. The chair, just last year, Rwanda's Ministry of ICT and Innovation signed an MOU with Huawei Technologies with the aim of enhancing skills development and employing young people in Rwanda's ICT sector. The chair, this is not only Rwanda. There are so many other instances, such as in Angola, the inauguration of Huawei Technology Park in the province of Rwanda. 2, China's Huawei Launches Innovation Center in South Africa. A report by Voice of Africa. Let's say this is not only in ICT. As we speak, the 12th batch of the Chinese medical team have arrived in Ghana to provide medical healthcare services to Chinese and Ghanaian workers here in Africa. My opponents, yet they're here talking about exploitation. Please, come again later. Point 7, China provides development aid, especially in social sectors like healthcare and education, building schools and hospitals across Africa. Let's say you'll be shocked to hear this. At the China-Africa Educational Seminar in Addis Ababa, guess what? African educational experts commended China for their role in improving quality education here in Africa by providing scholarships, vocational and skills development training, and even funding infrastructure for academic institutions. Apart from this, China has set up a trust fund under UNESCO in 2012, which has trained more than 10,000, I repeat, 10,000 teachers in Africa, with the aim of also training more than 50,000 students in China every single year. My opponents, the evidence lies right in your face. That they have also provided multiple hospitals, such as the China-Uganda Friendship Hospital, China-Guinea Friendship Hospital, China-Sierra Leone Friendship Hospital, among others. My opponents, where is the exploitation in this? I know no one likes the hospital, but even the name, China Friendship Hospital, will make you wish you fell sick. Point 8, and finally, that China is committed to green development in Africa. My opponents, take note, green development. That China is ever committed to supporting Africa in climate adaptation, providing clean energy solutions, and even including a special fund for Africa-China green industry change. That we provide evidence. This is contrary to so many infamous and unfortunate views out there that China engages in galamsey. Officially, the Chinese government has made its view clear on galamsey. Quote by Tong Jifa: "Stop blaming us for galamsey. You hired them." This is the Chinese ambassador to Ghana. My opponents, there's even more evidence from ccnews.org. Quote: "Chinese government prosecutes nationals deported from Ghana over galamsey." My opponents, this is what Ghana should have done a very long time ago. Yet, here we are, sitting down, enjoying life, watching, and blaming the Chinese for everything. That to blame the entire China for the actions of a few misguided Chinese people is purely overgeneralization, and it's very, very, very unfortunate. The chair of the House permits me to rebut some fallacies stated by my opponents. My opponents claim that Chinese presence in Africa is actually a debt trap. That is a huge lie. China is even known to forgive huge debts of countries who are unable to pay. They are not deceptive, unlike our colonial masters who used to bring us Bibles, and behind the Bible was a gun. My opponents, let me correct you. There is no such thing as a Chinese mining site. Have you ever sat down to ask yourself, who gave them that land? Who gave them the right to mine in our country? Of course, it is we, the Ghanaians. And with the Ghanaians alone, there have been many casualties. Yes, but don't blame someone else for eating the food you handed them with your open arm. Among four, it's important for you to note that China has consistently been painted by propaganda from the West, all because Western countries seek to control economic and political superiority. China is not the villain. My opponents also claim that China creates a system of dependency. How is this even true? If so, then why didn't China build their roads, their hospitals and schools in their own country? Among four. My opponents also said that China has tried to rebut us by saying that China creates unemployment. But my opponents, they ensure that everyone benefits. They bring both Chinese and Africans on board, no matter what they are doing, whether building a road, a school, a hospital, whatever it may be. My opponents also claim that the Chinese have taken over our markets with their goods. But my opponents, who grants permission for such goods to enter our market system? The government, of course. Among four, stop trying to be stereotypical. My opponents also claim that China is a neo-colonialist. That is a downright fallacy. My opponents, per their values, China does not believe in colonizing anybody. That is why they always ensure that both sides benefit. That is partnership, not colonialism. My opponents also asserted that China only lends huge sums of money to African countries just to exploit resources. This is a serious fallacy, because they are known to forgive huge debts of countries who are unable to pay. My opponents also claim that they also mentioned that the presence of Chinese businesses in Ghana kills local industries. That is oversimplification, the chair. We must rather challenge them to produce their own quality goods. Why blame the Chinese for all this? My opponents also claim that because China gives loans, they are free from fiscal and financial tax. The panel, China does not exploit. China does not cheat. China negotiates. You don't force loans down your throat today. No, my opponents, stop exaggerating. My opponents also asserted that China is to blame for exploiting our mineral and natural resources. The House, no one exploits Africa more than we Africans ourselves. Blame the greed, blame the corruption, blame the incompetence, blame yourself, but don't blame external forces. My opponents also claim that Chinese presence in Africa increases the rate of unemployment. My opponents, this is a huge false statement. Before China undergoes any massive project, they ensure that Africans are also employed in the whole process. My opponents also said that. Thank you.
listening chairperson, bold and impartial panel of judges, accurate timekeeper, all other protocols duly observed. A very good afternoon once again. I and my subordinate speaker mounted this podium to establish points in affirmation of the resolution before the House today, which I quote, China's involvement in Africa's infrastructure is more exploitative than developmental. Now allow me to reiterate for completeness the points we raised in support of our stance. One, we said that China's involvement in Africa's infrastructure is a clear case of debt trap diplomacy and not development. We further argue that China's involvement in Africa's infrastructure leads to crippling loss of local jobs and skills. Third point, we said that China's involvement in African infrastructure has led to undue exploitation of Africa's natural resources. Fourth, China's involvement in Africa's infrastructure is very exploitative because of China's political influence and soft power expansion. Five, China's involvement in Africa's infrastructure is never sustainable development, and consequential environmental harm and community displacement it entails. Six, Chinese-led infrastructure development sidelines African expertise, creating a system of dependency, management, and maintenance issues. In our 7th point, China's presence in Africa's infrastructure world systematically dismantles the local industries and undermines self-sufficiency. And in our final point, the Chair of the House, we argue that China's quiet control of Africa's strategic assets under the guise of infrastructure development reveals a calculated neo-colonial agenda. The Chair of the House, my opponents deviated from the motion by praising concrete rather than addressing the motion by showing us flashy projects that China has built. But panel, we are not denying that China has built beautiful things in this world. Oh yes, what exists? Technology has been introduced. Yes, we agree these are established facts. Even blind Bartimaeus will attest to that fact. So unless my opponents are mounting this podium to prove that Africa is somehow getting the better end of these glorified scams, then maybe they should fold their script and throw in the white towel, because we have a finals to win. The Chair of the House, my opponents argue that China gave us roads, railways, hospitals, and others. This is a poverty of aspect. Oh, they use one possible outcome, the hospitals, to justify the entire relationship. A single road or bridge does not mean the whole deal is beneficial. When these projects come with high interest loans, poor transparency, and long-term control, these benefits become very, very, very questionable. The Chair of the House, they said that, again, our opponents mounted this podium to rebut things we didn't even say. I put it to my opponents to mount this podium in a summary and prove the things we said. Again, in my opponent's introduction, red herring fallacy, straw man fallacy, and a bunch of other fallacies she mentioned, I assert to her, my opponent, mount this podium and prove it. Again, my opponent said that, technical team, I request the picture they posted concerning the beautiful infrastructure. Oh yes, this is a work of art. It is beautiful, but this is the bias of aesthetics. Visual appearance does not equal economic value. Exploitation by one party does not mean it does not look impressive. We must evaluate China's actions on their own merit. If we have sparkling train stations and where ticket prices are unaffordable and the profit head straight to China, that's not infrastructure. That is wickedness. Bako, our opponents even agree with us. Show us the video. All right, it seems it's taking some time. Let's move on to my next rebuttal. I'll come back to the video. The Chair, they said that,
that things are not always actually what they seem to be. Hence, one should not judge a person or a situation solely based on the outward appearance.
Oh yes, so indeed, if these structures are beautiful, in my opponent's own words, we should not judge it by its outward appearance. Again, they said that they tried to deflect the criticism by pointing to colonialism. Oh, that's a to cook. The West past mistake do not justify China's current actions. Exploitation by one party doesn't make a new exploitation acceptable. We must evaluate China's actions on their own merit, not in comparison to other wrongdoers. You don't defend a thief by pointing out another thief. Oh, exploitation is not a relay race. It's a crime every single time. The Chair, they reminded us that our opponents actually signed this agreement. This is a consent fallacy. Consent, when given under financial distress, poor governance doesn't legitimize an exploitative deal. A signed contract doesn't make an unequal relationship ethical or developmental. If you are starving and someone sells you food at 10 times the price and you come and tell her that the person has not exploited you, oh, give us a break. Thank you.
My opponents, you said a lot, but all you said was just a smart way of saying nothing. The otherwise chair, adjudication panel, all other protocols duly observed. My second coming here is not to confuse the House, just as Amanfour did, but to give a decent summary of the irrefutable points my supporting speaker and I raised, and to debunk some fallacious assertions made by my opponents. We argue that China's involvement in Africa's infrastructure is more developmental because, 1, China engages in healthy, responsible, and competitive business with Africa. 2, Africa-China relations provide mutual understanding and benefits, not exploitation. 3, China provides better and more favorable conditions for obtaining loans and for investments. 4, China provides incomparable infrastructural developments for African countries. 5, China's involvement with Africa provides employment that comes as a result of China's massive infrastructural development in the continent. 6, China provides transfer of technology, skills, and expertise to Africa. 7, China provides development aid, especially in social sectors like healthcare and education. And 8, and finally, China is committed to green development in Africa. The chair, the House, rebuttals. Godfred asserted that because the Chinese have taken over our markets, there is foreign addiction. We are not addicted. We know that the goods they produce are the quality. As we speak, the padlocks in your trousers are all made in China. Am I right? You also asserted that Chinese involvement in Africa's infrastructure reveals neo-colonial agenda. That is a stereotype. China does not believe in colonialism. They rather believe in political equality and non-interference. They negotiate with Africans. So that is partnership, not neo-colonialism. They also said that we claim there is job creation. Oh yes, there is job creation because according to Mr. Jean Linquan, please, my supporting speaker, tender the evidence for the judges so that we will not waste much time on Amanfour. They also claim that we deviated from the motion. All right, I'll come back to it. They said the roads Chinese build are not, the roads they build are like something they used to cover up. Let me let them know that the roads and the roadways they have built, they are not one, they are not two. Another classic case is the Mombasa-Nairobi Railway built in Kenya, which costed China over $3.1 billion to build that massive infrastructure for Kenya. But out of ignorance, my opponents are like, they are ignoring it. The chair, the House. Yes, it truly, I mounted this stage and I said that we do not judge based on outward appearance. That's why we tendered evidence of how it cost China to build that glorious edifice for Africa. That is the AU headquarters project in Addis Ababa. They also, the chair, the House. Before I resume my seat, I would like to make this thing clear. And now, the chair, my opponents never provided a credible evidence of exploitation. The center of this argument was exploitation and development. My supporting speaker and I made our stance clear by showing how China is developing Africa in terms of infrastructure and went ahead to show that their developmental agenda was more than any of supposed form of exploitation. But Amanfour, instead of them to show us what is exploitative in China's involvement in Africa's infrastructure, they rather spend time and guess what? presenting logics that move in circles so tight and could pass for a merry-go-round of confusion. For your argument is like a phone with no signal, loud, shiny, but completely disconnected from reality. The chair, we reject this idea of exploitation. I therefore call on all and sundry to rise up in one accord with me to kick against and crumble the topic that says, quote, China's involvement in Africa's infrastructure is more exploitative than developmental. Unquote, don't try me. I rest my case.
Ernestina, I beg, drink water. Why? You drink water. Godfred, you and your team drink water too, yeah? Let's cool down. Let's cool down. And to you, the debaters, to the debaters, you think that you're the only ones who can speak a bit of Chinese, eh? Well, I can also speak a word or two in Chinese. I want to say thank you in Chinese, so share. Yeah, share. Thank you very much. Oh yeah, I did very well too. Yeah, that's thank you in Chinese. Share. But listen, the applause should not be for me. The applause should be for these young, amazing, intelligent, smart debaters. Making themselves proud, making their schools proud as well. So we've come to the end of contest 1 in the semi-final edition of the 2025 edition of the Love FM High Schools debate. That contest was between Prempeh College and KNUST. Debaters, your results will be ready in a bit, and I will make it known to you. To all the viewers on television, to all the viewers on Facebook and YouTube, we say thank you very much, but don't go away yet. The second contest is just about to come your way, and that one is going to be between St. Louis Senior High School and defending champions, Kumasi High School. Don't go away, we'll be right back.